Okay.
And if he has his bar mitzvah lessons every Monday, Wednesday, so he gets in the morning. September. But it's a way for okay, so September 17th. And so the problem is that so June is July. Oh, yeah. That's so cool. Okay. It's July 26th. Oh my God. I'm having trouble with that.
She does.
Good evening and welcome. I'm going to wait about a minute or two. We are going live via YouTube, so I want to make sure that the families at home have time to log in as well. We have a few people coming in as well. And then we'll get started in a minute or two. Okay, thank you.
Nobody needs to start this, right? No.
So now they're doing it like we're going to do and they're like otherwise so there's different
I just asked them back there.
but I saw the second one. He's like, it's a lot cheaper for the additional gallons.
All right, good evening. Let's get started. My name is Keith Biesmann. I'm one of the assistant principals here at the middle school who was also started working here in 2002 and been running the trips since 2004. So it's been a great experience for me being able to take this role on, and I love Frost Valley. Our two advisors in 7th grade are Jen McWilliams and Megan Kellner, the teacher of the children, 7th grade, and also I think Ms. Kellner's one section 7th grade as well. So they're taking on this as well. So if you have questions throughout the process before we go on the trip, you can reach out to either me or one of them as well. We'll put information on the slideshow for you to see later. This will also be, slideshow will also be put on the school website tomorrow. So if you don't need to take notes or take pictures if you don't want to, it'll all be available for you. Plus it's also being recorded, so you can go onto the website as well to the YouTube page for that. Like I said, we've been doing this trip, Long Beach has been doing this trip for over almost 30 years now. It's a great trip. One thing I do want to ask, how many of you are first parents to Frost Valley? That's kind of why you're all here, which is great. So the first thing is I want to show you a video that was put together that kind of gives you an overview of the trip. And after that, we'll go on to some more of the details and some Q&A about the trip.
We all meet at the middle school, greeting our friends and teachers, and say goodbye to our parents.
Shake the dust off if you can. You're a better man. It's hard to leave when you're wrong. Even yet, just can't face another day. So you say the fact is, you just need to change your season. When you're all alone, and your tears haven't dried, you can breathe a little. In your small town pride, you can never go back. You can never go home. Did you know where the heart is? It's in the heart of the soul. Shake the dust off if you can. You're a better man. It's hard to leave when you're wrong. Even yet, just can't face another day. So you say the fact is, you just need to change your season. There's a fire burning where the love night beams, and the road's wide open. And you slow down.
Students are assigned to set up and clean up day and meal. They are escorted to the cafeteria where they start their assignments. They set the tables, serve the food, and clean up at the end of each meal. We gather together with our groups to start the day's activities.
Our loads right now. We are going to get started on it as soon as we are prepared for our class. Alright? So, to do that, please make sure that we are capable of keeping each other safe. This requires us to spot. The climber can touch the rope, the climber can touch the tree, the climber can never touch the wires. If absolutely necessary, the climber can touch the spotters. Okay, but ideally, you challenge yourself not to be held by the spotter.
Spotters, are you ready?
Ready!
May I go on the rope?
Yes!
Thank you for asking to go out like that.
Trust, communication, and teamwork are the keys to success. Students learn how to deal with situations they might encounter while camping, such as building a fire, staying warm, and cooking food.
Who has plants at home that they put fertilizer on? Well, the nature doesn't do that, but she has her own love of way. She kills the plants with fertilizer. She kills the plants with fertilizer because whatever took the nutrients from the soil when it dies, it puts the nutrients back into the soil and it gives it to everybody else. Now, when water gets inside here in the winter time, what does water do when it freezes? It gets bigger, smaller. Then it gets bigger. What's going to happen to the size of the crack that water's freezing in it? It's going to get bigger. What's going to happen to the size of that rock that the crack's getting bigger? Bigger and taller. It's like a forest. Yeah.
Shake the dust off if you can.
We're doing a gamma right now, and most of the people are scared, but I told them not to be so.
Just can't face another day. So you say the fact that
Now, we're going to teach you how to go over this fun table. This is a really fun one because we have a flow. Look at that beautiful waterfall. Okay? Look at my feet. See the heel or not the heel arch mark? That's where I want the table. I want my toe facing out. And I want my toe facing out the other way. Now, I don't want to see saying, look, balls, no hands. None of that. You always have to keep your hands still.
I think it was scary at first, but at the end, I think it was kind of
After dinner, we gather together to take on our next challenge. Night activities foster the concept of teamwork to achieve a goal. It looks easy, doesn't it? It's not so easy when you have a team this large. But you can try. And try. And try. And you will succeed.
you're on the road and your tears have dried, you can breathe a little. Get your small down the ride.
So far, Cross Valley has been a lot of fun, and there's a lot of new things to see here. At first, I was very scared, but when I got here, I noticed that there is nothing to be afraid about or scared about because there's lots of people around you, and the hiking is very fun, and you can get a lot of exercise, so it's fun, and you get to meet new people. It's really cool.
You would go long, you know where the hall.
Long Beach. Wait to the camera. Wait. Smile.
And this year, it's your turn.
Middle school, what's up? What's up, Long Beach? Hope everybody's doing well and trying to stay safe as they possibly can. Miss you guys tremendously. We just want to take a couple moments to let you know how much
¿Hay alguien que necesite un intérprete? Levanta la mano. No, todos están bien. Gracias. I have a joke right after I show that video that's our presentation. Thanks for coming this evening and have a good night. Anyway, so where's Frost Valley? If you don't know, it's in the Catskills, the southwestern Catskills. It's about a 4-hour drive from here. FrostValley.org is the website if you want to look it up. Check it out. It's a great YMCA camp. They do camps all year round. They do school camps. It's insane how many schools go through the programs. A lot of Long Island schools go there as well. I will be sending a parent link out on the Wednesday once we arrive there, and Friday when we leave. Frost Valley, that's the only communication I will have from us to you, so that we arrive on time and that we'll be coming home Friday. And then as we get closer to Long Beach, I'll send one more parent link out, saying we're about 30, 40 minutes away so that you guys can get here to pick up your child. On May 11th, when we leave, we depart at 6 a.m. Your child needs to be here at 5:30 in the morning with their own breakfast. That's the only meal your child will need. We ask that they don't bring glass bottles or milk products, liquid milk products, as students will get bus sick as we closer off the thruway and off of 8417. The roads get winding. That's where the kids usually do start to get a little sick if they do. And they don't need to be dressed ready to go. We have time to change, get in their cabins before the activities start. I guess that's about it. We do take coach buses, so it's comfortable. There are restrooms, we show movies and things like that as well. Some of the activities which you saw in the video, a lot of team building activities, trust building activities. Initially the trip was 4th and 6th graders coming in from the elementary schools. Unfortunately, because of last year, which we were aware, we weren't able to go. The school district made a commitment to making sure your children, the 7th graders, do get this experience. And we feel it's a very great experience for everyone, so we are going. Unfortunately, we couldn't go in the year because of the scheduling, and the Frost Valley was only taking one school a week, so it was really tight for their schedules. They fit us in for the May time. If you ask about the staff attending, it's all teachers, TAs, clerical employees of the middle school. There are a few situations where we do have to take teachers or staff from other buildings in the district. Either we've had taken teachers from Lido or West, so there are employees of the district. So if you want about staff that's going, it's all staff that's employed by the district. The student-faculty ratio, as you can see, there are 4 groups here. The first 3 groups, the activity group, dining group, and cabin group, we will choose what groups they're in. The dining table, if there's 8 children, we'll pick 4 boys, 4 girls. Cabin groups, depending on which cabinet it is, there are 16, 32, the largest cabin is about 45 students, but it's about 1 to 8 person ratio for that. The bus group, this is the only opportunity for your child to sign up to be with their friends on this trip. This is something that we've done historically, because we feel it's a great opportunity for your children to meet more students they may not know. Fortunately, 7th graders they had last year and part of this year to get to know more kids. We still feel there's so many more kids they may not know, that this is the opportunity for them to do that and learn. The health forms, you should have received this packet, which if you haven't, the yellow form, there's a yellow form and a pink form. The yellow form has to be completed and turned in. Frost Valley requires that. The pink form is if your child takes any type of medication, has an inhaler, EpiPen, something like that, in case they have to administer that, and that has to be signed by a physician. If you want your child to take Tylenol, Advil, Claritin, something like that as well, you also have to have a doctor's signature, and it explains it all on the front page of the packet. Okay? Oh, can you go back? Also, if your child has any food allergies, that's noted on there. Frost Valley will service any type of food allergy or need that you need. Anything you need, you let us know. We notify their staff, and they have meals for anyone who could be diabetic, could have actually it's a nut-free facility, so there are no nuts or no peanuts. And If there's allergic to shellfish, we'll take care of that. They take care of any type of medical need for your child as well. And if you have any concerns about the health of your child regarding medicine, medication, please contact Ms. King in the health office. She'll answer your questions. She'll take care of you. She'll give us information as long as it's also filled out in the paperwork as well. Okay? As of now, we do have to follow any type of COVID protocol that is set up. Back when we went with the sixth graders in October, we were required to wear masks in the buildings and on the buses. That is still true for now. If something has changed, the masks are lifted, we'll let you know that, and then we'll make the adjustments after that. Okay? Cost of the trip is free. The district pays for this trip. This is about the third year that they're paying for the trip, which has been wonderful. It gives everyone the opportunity to go on. The only cost to you is any type of materials, supplies you need, which is on that green form. It's called a bring along list. Boots, hats, gloves, things like that. If you have difficulty and need assistance with that any type of item, please let us know. We will help with that as well. We have our social worker and guidance department will work on helping you with getting any supplies you need. Fortunately for going in May, we hope the weather is fairly nice. Historically, I looked at historical weather for May. The daytime is 65. Nighttime drops down to about 40. But they aren't really outside much at night. And if they are, they're running on like campfires, having fun. So it's not like we're going to have snow. Possibility of snow is very unlikely while we're there. So bring along list, I mentioned that. Make sure your child labels all their items. They will be responsible for carrying their luggage to the cabins from the bus. So we don't want them to overpack. We recommend a suitcase with possibly rolling wheels or a duffel bag. On the bring along list, it says you can have a sleeping bag and or blankets. And you don't need to buy a sleeping bag for this. A blanket and a sheet is just fine. They provide pillows. You do not need to bring a pillow. If you want your child wants a pillow on the bus, they're responsible for the pillow. And just look at the bring along list here. If you have any questions, you can ask us. So frost-free, we do offer a frost-free option in the middle school. It's for students who are not attending. They'll complete similar activities to what we do at Frost Valley: trust building, team building, some science exploration, and activities such as that during the school day in the building with some of their peers as well. So they really experience of meeting new kids, doing some of the activities as well. Okay. Yeah, so there are different reasons that people might not attend the trip. Some are they don't want their child to go away. The children doesn't want to go. We do have some concerns with some safety of children. Being 4 hours away, there's concern with the safety and behavior of some children. They may not be able to go on the trip. We'll be talking to families and individuals about that as in the next week or after we get back from the February break. So these are some of the dates. I know there's only 2 dates because it's so far out. Usually with the sixth grade trip, we have about 5 weeks to go on the trip from when school starts, when you leave. We have about 2.5 months to really prepare for this trip, so it's not as time sensitive. But we're asking that you turn in all the medical forms by March 11th. That way we can go through the list, start making activity groups, start making our cabin groups. We will do a practice walk and a bus sign up. That's where your child can actually sign up for the buses. When we do the practice walk, they will bring their boots, they'll break them in. We ask that if they don't have boots, you bring them to the school for that trip. It's very common when a child comes to Frost Valley with a pair of boots that have not been broken in, and by the end of day one, they have blisters all over their feet. It's not fun. So just ask that you have the boots available for that. When the luggage tag meeting is the day before we go on the trip, we give them an index card with their name on it, their bus number, and the color of the index card. And they'll attach that to their luggage for the trip so we know what cabin it goes to, what bus it goes on, so we don't lose the luggage. We're going to ask if you have a sleeping bag that's not attached or in that you actually put your own luggage tag on or put your name on it or write your name on it, because we want to make sure it gets back to you. Inevitably, we do lose a sleeping bag here or there because there was no name on it. We bring it back to lost and found here, and it usually gets claimed. So we ask that as well. Frost Valley gear. we will do pre-ordering of Frost Valley gear. I haven't set this up yet with the store there, but when I do, I will put out a parent link message to you. I'll ask Ms. Beard to put it on the newsletter as well. You can pre-order it, so when we get there on that Wednesday evening, we'll hand the gear to your child, and then they can wear the sweatshirts, sweatpants, pajama bottoms, whatever gear you purchase, they'll get that on Wednesday evening. If you want to order prior to Frost Valley, you can do that. You can go on the website. You also have to pay a shipping fee. You have to have it shipped to you, brought back to Long Beach. Here's our contact information. If you want to take a picture of this, you can. Otherwise, it'll be available on the website. And if you don't know, our email is our first initial of our first name, our whole last name at lbeach.org. If you need to get a hold of me, just call the main office. It's easier to reach me than it is to them because they're in class all day, but they will take calls and emails and messages as well. And like I said, I've been doing this trip for over almost 20 years now, and I can know by the back of my hand, so it's a lot of fun. And that's it. I know it's kind of fast. Unfortunately, for the people at home, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, unfortunately, you can't ask them now, but you can email me, and I'll respond to you by tomorrow evening. Okay? Any questions in the?
So, because this trip is typically for 6th graders, right, young 6th graders, and now these children are going to be going when they're almost 8th graders, what is the plan to make this different on site in terms of like what they're going to be experiencing, how they're going to be interacting? Like, is there a plan to change this up at all, or is it exactly the same trip that it would have been when they were brand new 6th graders?
The plan is the same trip because Frost Valley caters to schools anywhere from 4th graders all the way to high school, and the age range that the children are in are kind of the same activities planned for the kids. So there really isn't much difference changing the trip. It's pretty much the same activities throughout the day. They do the night activities, they go to cabins and so forth. Okay.
Are there any other groups there at the same time, or just no school?
As of now, I don't think any schools are there, and if there are other schools, which I haven't, it's usually a small school, maybe 30 to 40 children from either the city or somewhere in the vicinity.
Interact with each other?
They never interact with each other. They could possibly cross over during the dining hall, because they're in a separate area in the dining hall, so if it is, it's a matter of just passing by someone.
Because they have relationships, whether positive or negative, will that be taken into account?
So if your child has had a negative experience with another child, we ask that you let us know in advance so we can then maybe put that in consideration for separation, for either activity group, cabin, or whatever. As far as asking for a request to be with your best friend, we're not taking any of those requests. They could possibly with them. I don't know who your best friends are. That could happen, but we're not taking those requests. Yes?
I'm sorry if you answered this. Cell phones, technology, is that?
So, cell phones are out. No cell phones. And I learned that lesson with the 6th graders. You know, we felt that because with taking photos and things like that, it would be helpful. It turned out it was not as productive as we like it. So cell phones not allowed on the trip. Once we reach a certain part up in the Catskills, they lose cell service anyway. So what the kids were doing was playing video games they downloaded, and that defeats the whole purpose of the trip. Taking videos and things like that. So cell phones not allowed.
Not on the bus,
Not on the bus, not at all. Okay? Yes.
About what percentage of the 7th grade class is expected to attend?
We want every child to go. Our goal is to have every child. That never happens. We usually average around 92 to 94% go. So that's for 6th grade. For 7th grade, we want everyone to go. Again, we encourage them. We want them to go. You know, we would like to have as many go that want.
How many is that?
We have probably about 220, something like that. Yeah. And it depends on the year, and it depends on, you know, how the kids are, and if they, you know, kids don't want to go, or parents don't want them to go, or things like that. So Any other questions? Yes.
I don't know if you're aware, but, or if this is relevant, but like, my son, he's like, oh, you know, some kids might not want to go because a few years ago, 4 kids were murdered, and I was like,
Not on my watch.
Yeah, I just sometimes rumors circulate.
Correct. Yeah, rumors go, rumors start. Listen, this is a great trip. I want every child to go on this trip. I've been advocating for every child to go. We've had, before when students had to pay for it, that was more difficult for some families to go, but now the district pays for it. We really want them to go. We didn't know if it really changed the amount of kids going or not with having to pay or not pay, but anyway, that's what it is.
But everyone that goes comes home.
Yes. We have had 1 or 2 trips to the hospital for things where, they fell on something like that, but they come home, they still come home.
They must have a nurse on site.
Yes.
Bring a nurse also.
We use their nurse, or their health facility, or their state-of-the-art facility. We use their nurse for distributing medication, things like that. We do take a nurse also. I'm not sure if we're taking one on this trip. I think we will, because I'm not sure if Ms. King can go, we'll figure something out. But yeah, we usually do take our own nurse for the situation.
I just want to get back to your question about the activities. That's an older video, and when I went a couple of years ago, so the activities were a little bit different. They kind of have updated them a little bit.
Yeah.
And with social distancing, we probably have taken that into account with some of the newer activities as well.
Yes.
Is there any reason for them to bring money out of this?
No reason to make money, because the store, they don't need money. We don't stop anywhere. There's no snacks. We provide the meals, the breakfast, the lunch, and the dinner. There's also fruit available all day long. And we go snack in the evening before they go to bed. So they get a snack after the night activity. So the day runs, we get there on Wednesday, we do activities in the afternoon. We have dinner, we do a night activity. The next morning we do another activity, lunch, 2 activities. It's crazy because when we get there, we're thinking, okay, we got 2.5 days left. And before you know it, it's Thursday night, and we're saying, oh my gosh, we're going home tomorrow morning. We got to pack tonight. So, and if we do fire campfires and they do s'mores, the staff provides that for the students, so they'll get that opportunity as well. Okay. Are there any other questions, concerns? Again, you can reach out to us. If you would like to stay after the meeting is over to ask a personal question, or you want clarification on something, we'll be around here for a while, so you're more than welcome to stay. If anyone needs any of the paperwork, additional paperwork, we have paperwork up here. You can come pick up the paperwork. If not, I want to thank you for coming out tonight. And again, I'm so happy that the children get this experience. This is going to be a great trip. It is still, a few months away, but we do have to start planning out because it's the end of the year, which we've never done before. So with everything else going on, we want to make sure we do it right. Okay? Again, thank you so much, and have a good evening.